Welcome back. Today we are going to answer one of the most common questions I get. How many solar panels and batteries do you actually need? And we are not guessing. We are going to calculate it step by step using a real subscriber system. One of my subscribers, Otanje, sent me his list: an incubator, a water pump, lights, a TV, and a fridge. By the end of this video, we will have sized everything perfectly: panels, batteries, inverter, and all the protection components. Section 1. Understanding the load. Before we touch a single panel, we need to know exactly how much power this system must deliver. This is called the load. Here is Otanje's list: an incubator running at 600 watts, 10 LED bulbs, about 100 watts total, a submersible water pump at 1500 watts, a television at 120 watts, and a refrigerator at 150 watts. That gives us a peak running load of 2,470 watts. But peak watts alone don't tell the whole story. We need to know how many hours each appliance runs per day. The incubator runs 24 hours, that is 14,400 watt-hours per day. The pump runs just 2 hours, but at 1,500 watts, that is still 3,000 watt-hours. Add everything together and we get 20,120 watt-hours, or about 20 kilowatt-hours every single day. Section 2. Sizing the battery bank. Now that we know our daily load, we can size the battery bank. We are using lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO4, batteries. These are the best choice for solar systems today. They last over 3,000 charge cycles. They are safe, efficient, and they allow us to use 80% of their capacity, what we call depth of discharge. Lead-acid batteries? You can only use about 50%. That means you need almost twice as many. LiFePO4 wins every time. Here is the battery sizing formula. Take your daily load, 20,120 watt-hours, and divide by the depth of discharge, 0.80. 20,120 divided by 0.80 equals 25,150 watt-hours. That is 25.15 kilowatt-hours of battery capacity needed. We always add a safety buffer, so we round up to 30 kilowatt-hours. At 48 volts, that means we need 625 amp-hours minimum. Using standard 100 amp-hour batteries, that is 7 batteries connected in parallel. Section 3. Panel sizing and string design with temperature coefficient. We are using the Canadian Solar 580-watt panel. This is a premium high-efficiency panel, and it is very popular for large systems. Here are the critical specs. Open circuit voltage, VOC, is 49.8 volts. Max power voltage, VMP, is 41.8 volts. Short circuit current, ISC, is 14.78 amps. But here is what most beginners miss: the temperature coefficients. The voltage changes with temperature. If you ignore this, you can destroy your inverter. Here is the rule: cold weather pushes voltage up, hot weather pushes voltage down. On a cold morning at 10 degrees Celsius, the VOC of each panel rises to 51.82 volts. That is higher than the panel's rated spec. On a hot day when the cell temperature reaches 70 degrees, the VMP drops to just 36.72 volts. We must account for both extremes when we design our string. Our inverter accepts a maximum DC input of 500 volts, and the MPPT tracker works between 120 and 450 volts. To find the maximum panels in series, divide 500 volts by our cold VOC of 51.82 volts. That gives us 9.65, so the absolute maximum is 9 panels per string. For the minimum, divide 120 volts by our hot VMP of 36.72 volts. That gives us 3.27, so we need at least 4 panels per string. We choose 4 panels per string. String VOC cold is 207 volts, safely under 500. String VMP hot is 147 volts, inside the MPPT range. Perfect. We run 2 strings in parallel, giving us 8 panels total, 4,640 watts of solar power. The combined array current is 27.74 amps flowing into the inverter MPPT input. We will use this number in the next section when we size our protection equipment. Section 4. Choosing the right inverter. A hybrid inverter is the brain of the system. It manages power from the solar panels, the battery, and the grid, and delivers clean AC power to your loads. Sizing it correctly is critical, and the #1 mistake people make? They look at running watts only and forget about the pump. The water pump is 1,500 running watts, but when it starts, the motor draws 3 to 5 times that, up to 4,500 watts of surge current for about 2 seconds. An undersized inverter will trip every time that pump starts, so we size for the surge, not just the running load. Total running load is 2,470 watts. Add the pump surge, we need a minimum 5 kilowatt inverter. I recommend going to 6 or 8 kilowatts. The extra headroom is worth it. Section 5A. DC Combiner Box, Components and Calculations. The DC Combiner Box is where all your solar strings meet before going to the inverter. It protects each string individually and gives you a safe way to isolate the array. Let's go through every component inside and calculate the correct size for each one. First, string fuses. The rule is simple, 1.25 times the short circuit current of one string. Our ISC is 14.78 amps. Multiply by 1.25. That is 18.5 amps. We round up to the next standard size, 20 amp DC fuses, rated at 500 volts or higher. We need 1 fuse per string, so 2 fuses for our 2-string system, and always use DC-rated fuses. AC fuses cannot safely break DC current. Next, the main DC disconnect switch. This lets you safely isolate the entire array from the inverter. Total short circuit current from all strings, 2 strings times 14.78 amps equals 29.56 amps. Multiply by 1.25. That is 36.95 amps. We use a 40 amp DC isolator rated at 500 volts. Finally, always add a Type 2 DC surge protection device. One lightning strike without it can destroy your inverter instantly. Use one rated at 600 volts DC and at least 20 kiloamps discharge. Mount the whole assembly in an IP65 weatherproof enclosure for outdoor installation. Section 5B. AC Distribution Board, Components and Calculations. The AC distribution board takes the output from the inverter and distributes it to all your loads through individual circuit breakers. Each circuit needs a breaker that protects the cable and the appliance, not just any size will do. The main breaker is sized to the inverter output. For a 6 kilowatt inverter at 230 volts, the output current is 26 amps. We use a 32 or 40 amp double pole MCB here. For the pump, 1,500 watts divided by 230 volts is 6.5 amps running, but the surge means we use a 16 amp MCB and size the cable at 2.5 square millimeters. The incubator gets a dedicated 10 amp circuit, lights on 6 amps, TV and fridge each on 6 or 10 amp circuits. 2 more critical components. First, a 30 milliamp RCD, or residual current device. This detects earth faults and cuts power in milliseconds. It protects human life.
Second, an AC surge protection device, Type 2. This handles surges coming in from the grid side. Use one rated at least 20 kiloamps.
Section 5C, DC battery breaker sizing. This is the most important protection component in the entire system, the DC battery breaker. A lithium battery can deliver thousands of amps into a short circuit. Without proper protection, that means fire, explosion, or destroyed equipment. The battery breaker must be DC rated. I cannot stress this enough. A standard AC breaker cannot safely interrupt DC current. It will arc, weld shut, and fail. Never use an AC MCB as a DC battery breaker. AC breakers cannot extinguish DC arcs. They can explode and cause fire. Always use DC-rated protection. Here is the calculation. Our 6 kilowatt inverter at 48 volts draws a maximum of 125 amps DC. Multiply by 1.25 safety factor, that is 156 amps. We select a 200 amp DC breaker or ANL fuse rated at 60 volts DC minimum. And the cable between the battery and inverter must be 70 or 95 square millimeters, short and thick. Keep that run under 1.5 meters. Every extra meter is resistance, heat, and energy loss.
Section 6. Complete solar wiring. Putting it all together. 8 580-watt solar panels, a Solace 6 kilowatt hybrid inverter, 7 lithium iron phosphate batteries, 33 kilowatt hours of storage, 1 fully protected home. Let's wire it. Step 1. DC solar and combiner box. Your 8 panels form 2 strings, 4 panels in series, 2 strings in parallel. Before connecting anything, measure each string's open circuit voltage. You're looking for approximately 180 volts per string, well within the inverter's 500 volt limit. Confirm this every time. Wire each string in series, positive to negative, panel to panel, using 6mm solar cable. Red for positive, black for negative. Label every cable at both ends. Inside the IP65 combiner box, each string positive feeds through its own 20 amp DC fuse onto the combined positive bus bar. Both string negatives connect directly to the negative bus. The DC surge protection device connects across the bus to earth, guarding your inverter against lightning spikes. The DC isolator sits at the output, open until commissioning. Run 10mm squared cable from the combiner to the inverter's PV input terminals. Confirm polarity. Torque the terminals. Step 2. Battery bank. 7 48-volt batteries wired in parallel. Voltage stays the same, capacity becomes 700 amp hours. One rule you cannot break. Every battery cable to the bus bar must be identical in length. Identical. Unequal lengths mean unequal resistance, uneven charging, and a shortened battery life. Connect all positives to the positive bus bar, all negatives to the negative bus bar. From the positive bus, run 70 or 95mm squared flexible copper cable through the 200 amp DC battery breaker to the inverter's battery positive terminal. Keep this run under 1.5 meters. Use hydraulically crimped ring lugs. Never solder heavy battery cables. Connect BMS communication cable to the inverter if your batteries support it. The battery breaker stays open until commissioning. Step 3. Grid input. Energy enters through a protection chain in this exact sequence. Energy meter with CT clamp to measure import and export in real time. Then the double-pole AC isolator for safe disconnection. Then the under-over voltage relay, set to trip below 185 volts and above 253 volts. Then the Type 2 AC surge protection device. Then the 40 amp main MCB. From that MCB output, 10mm squared cable connects to the inverter's grid terminals, live, neutral, earth, under 3 meters. Grid isolator stays open. Step 4. Output to load board. The inverter's 6 kilowatt AC output feeds your distribution board through 10 millimeter squared cable, again under 3 meters. Inside the board, the 40 amp incoming MCB first, then the RCD, 40 amps, 30 milliamps. Every load circuit passes through this device. It is the one that stops electrocution, non-negotiable. Then 5 individual circuit breakers, lighting at 10 amps, power sockets at 16, kitchen at 20, air conditioning sized to its load, and a dedicated critical backup circuit. Label every single breaker. Step 5. Earthing. Every metal surface in this system must connect to a single earth point. Drive a copper earth rod at least 1.2 meters into the ground. Test resistance, below 10 ohms. 16 millimeter squared green-yellow cable from that rod to your main earth bar. Everything connects there. Panel frames to combiner earth bar. Combiner box to main earth bar. Inverter PE terminal to main earth bar. Battery rack bonded. All AC circuit earths to the AC/DB earth bar. All paths meet at one point, one connection to ground. Test continuity between every metal component and the earth rod before energizing anything. Step 6. Commissioning and safety check. Work through your checklist first. Polarity confirmed. String voltages in range. All breakers open. Earth continuity verified. No debris in any enclosure. Then energize in order. Battery breaker first, the inverter wakes up. DC isolator second, PV voltage appears. Wait 3 minutes. Grid isolator and MCB third. Inverter synchronizes. Output MCB fourth. Load breakers one by one. Test each circuit. Then test the RCD. Press the button. It must trip instantly. Let it run for 30 minutes. No heat, no alarms, no unusual smells. You're live. Your system is generating, storing, and managing its own clean energy right now. Register your inverter warranty today. Download Solace Cloud and connect to Wi-Fi. Photograph every enclosure before you close it. Test your RCD every month. And every time your electricity bill arrives, remember this moment. You built energy independence, connection by connection, correctly and safely. 25 years of clean power starts today. Go make it happen. Energy independence is not a product you buy off a shelf. It is something you build with knowledge, with care, and with the courage to do it right. You did that. The sun rises tomorrow, and now, so does your system.